You're watching the Border League, presented by the United States Marine Corps on League Ready. And on a beautiful night in Las Vegas, we are set for our second matchup of the evening, featuring the Vale out of East Vale, California, and Dynamic Prep from North Texas. And alongside my partner Kevin Sweeney and our wonderful crew, I'm Sam Brief. So the Vale and Dynamic Prep, we get more top prospects, more loaded talent, more NBA Suns. Kevin Sweeney, tell me where your eyes go in this matchup.
I mean, California versus Texas, two talent-rich states. And in this one, it's the bigs of Dynamic Prep versus the guards of the Vale. Bradden Burries, a elite recruit, 5-star kid recruited by everybody. Pair him with Isaac Williamson off to New Mexico. That's a heck of a battle. Pair that with Dynamic Prep. It's all about the bigs. It's Jaden Toombs. It's Marcus Spears. And don't forget Jermaine O'Neal Jr.
And let's take a look at the Vale's starting lineup. You mentioned the guards. It starts with Burries, the 5-star, and Isaac Williamson, who recently committed to New Mexico. Now, how about Dynamic Prep? The bigs, you got Toombs, Spears, O'Neal, and then Jalen Faison, Leroy Kelly the 4th. He's headed off to Oral Roberts. The Vale's in blue, Dynamic Prep is in red. Dynamic Prep coached by Jermaine O'Neal, 18-year NBA vet who founded the program. His son is one of their stars, wearing number 7 in red. The Vale coached by Steven Singleton. He is in his 10th year leading this team out of East Vale, California. Here's his best player, Bradden Burries, in the Navy jersey. Burries, a 3-ball. An offensive rebound. That's Isaac Williamson, his backcourt mate. Burries in the corner. Tiptoeing amongst the trees. This is Leroy Kelly. Or rather, Jackson Hagans, excuse me. Here's Hagans again. And now Walker. No good on a long possession.
And they're firing away from deep early, not shy, just couldn't get one to go.
And right away, a much quicker possession ends with Marcus Spears Jr.
I mean, a class of 2028 recruit. You can see how young he looks, still very lean, but the talent is off the charts for Marcus Spears Jr.
6'8" and 180 pounds. There's a lot of beef that can be added.
Well, think about his dad, former NFL guy, ESPN personality, Marcus Spears. There's weight to be had for Marcus Spears Jr., but his game is really unique, and he is one to watch moving forward.
He's got all the points tonight after hitting that 3. And then Williamson can't quite answer. Rebound chased out of bounds, but also landing out of bounds was Leroy Kelly. Here's another look at Marcus Spears Jr. He's a 4-star prospect, just a sophomore, ranked 20th in the class of 2027.
He's got a very bright future, as does Bradden Burries, who gets the Vale on the board with that layup. But it's exciting to watch guys that young be that productive, and the ceiling is almost limitless for Marcus Spears Jr.
Here's Jaden Toombs, who's headed to SMU next year. A spin move, a finish, and that's why he's playing high major basketball.
Yeah, that's his game. He's long, he's mobile, he can play inside and out. 7'3" wingspan, that'll help you get to the rim a little bit. Use that length, and he did a great job there of keeping it high and finishing around the rim.
Williamson in the corner. Burries up top. Burries shimmying. Hagans. And it's thrown away, going back to Dynamic Prep. So you've got probably quite a few SMU fans watching us tonight, and 2 of your stars of the future are number 1 in red and 7 in red. Toombs and O'Neal Jr. Here's the first of them. Toombs, your big man, who draws some contact, a foul from Williamson.
And it's going to be a long night for the Vale trying to guard Jaden Toombs, because this is an undersized group. You know, they start 5 guards. Here they're putting in a little bit of size, but matchup-wise, there's no one on the team that can match him up one-on-one. So it'll be interesting to see how this coaching staff elects to guard him, send double teams potentially. But there's what he can do. He can pass out of it. Did a great job of finding Faison right there for the layup. So he is a matchup nightmare at 6'9" for this the Vale team.
We just saw a great passing big in Cam Boozer in our first game, and now another one here in Toombs. Ori Benjamin spun his way out of trouble and will stay here. First matchup of the night was a 90-72 win for the Explorers over Compass. Now dynamic prep on a 9-0 run and counting. Faison with a steal. Up ahead, no finish there for O'Neal Jr. And Burries on the rebound. Williamson, 1-on-2 and a 2-win, blocked by Spears. O'Neal. Kelly. Another chance now for dynamic, and it's swatted away by Walker. Miles Walker.
How about the 5'9" Miles Walker with a block? Don't get those every day. But he is a gritty point guard. Tough, undersized, but a high-level passer and showing some defensive chops there as well.
And we'll stay on this end here.
See Jacoby Coleman now, number 5 for Dynamic Prep, another one of these committed D1 guards. Off to Sam Houston State to play for Chris Mudge. A lot of winning programs these Dynamic Prep kids are headed to. Sam Houston has been really, really good. Oral Roberts, obviously, March history of late with Max A-Smith. SMU has been very good at times in the past and now has renewed optimism with Andy Enfield coming in. So I think that says a lot. When winning programs recruit your kids, it says something about the program that Jermaine O'Neal, senior, has built so far at Dynamic Prep.
Yeah, Jermaine O'Neal founded Dynamic Prep in 2022. There he is. Got his boy to come play for him. His son's a senior who's headed off to SMU. 18
that was a hard
NBA
recruiting
seasons
pitch
for Jermaine.
Hard recruiting pitch? Get your son to come play for you in high school?
Yeah, pretty easy, right? It's a non-profit, basketball-only program that pairs with academics. Dynamic Prep in its 3rd year of operation, based in Irving, Texas, north part of the state. A commanding lead right now, 9-4, and it might keep ballooning.
It's going to be hard for Dynamic to do much at the rim with, or excuse me, the Vale to do much at the rim with Jaden Toombs in there.
And Toombs' pocket picked, and Dynamic steals it right back. Here's Jacoby Coleman, out to O'Neal Jr., swirls in from downtown.
That is the sell with Jermaine O'Neal Jr. 3 and D. He's been active on the defensive end, now hits the corner 3.
Really good rhythm shooter. Prides himself on his IQ. Teaming up with Toombs on defense here, and then Toombs, a little swat on a wrist, leads to a foul call.
Isaac Williamson, undersized but battling. He is a kid for the Vale that, we mentioned he's committed to New Mexico. New Mexico loves this kid. His toughness, his defense. He is a guy that they really think is undervalued. Was one of the best defensive players on the Adidas circuit playing for Compton Magic. He is one of those glue guys that may never score a ton of points at the college level, but he will impact winning. The defending Mountain West Tournament champs wanted him to be a part of that program.
What is it about his game that makes him impact winning so much, that New Mexico and the Lobo program love so much?
I mean, he's just a bulldog. He wants to guard. He loves taking on that challenge. And again, like, they've had high level guards come out of the state of California at that place. Like when New Mexico recruits a California guard, take notice. Donovan Dent there now is a potential NBA prospect down the line, rising junior for the Lobos. So it says a lot that they went out and wanted Isaac Williamson, and I really believe that his style of game fits how Richard Pitino's club wants to play.
We'll put back 2 there for Amari Reed, who's already committed to UT Arlington. And then Reed inhales a rebound. Quick the other way. Jermaine O'Neal Jr. no. And rebound hauled in by Burries.
The Vale's got to get Burries going. I mean, he's attracting so much attention from the defense.
And off the glass. It's good there for Williamson. The Bulldog.
Showing the offense too, and he can score. Like, he is not just a defender, but he will turn heads with how he guards the ball, and that is his path to early minutes at the college level.
Avery Houston falls and throws it away. Houston's a 4-star, one of the top 25 shooting guards in his class. His only offer right now is Portland.
Long way to go, 2027, got some time.
The waiting game. Here's Williamson. Future Lobo leads to a rebound and sort of funky chase down, and then Miles Walker, who's been everywhere, steals it back. Now Burries on the ground. Hagens out to Copenhagen. Dominic misses. And then a foul. These are some messy, disjointed offensive possessions for the Vale.
Yeah, that's why every coach would tell you that if there's a loose ball, you need to be first to the floor. Trying to reach down and pick it up is rarely the best strategy because you end up rolling it around like they did there. Dive on the floor, grab it with 2 hands, and either take a timeout, get tied up, or try to pass it to one of your teammates. That's the recipe for success at the college level, and a lot of teams will actually chart first to floor, loose ball touches, things like that. It is really important to winning at the next level.
Here's Houston, well short on a 3. And now Burries motoring through, gets his pocket picked by Faison.
Yeah, he's just pressing now. You don't have numbers, run your offense.
Ooh, a tie-up. Burries forces a jump ball, and that's part of the reason he's a 5-star, that aggression. He's really got it.
Yeah, he's a really talented prospect. He's got terrific size. He shoots it from a high point. He's a 3-level scorer. He's got a game-ready body, and he can really defend.
Well, credit Avery Houston. He just keeps on firing and finally comes up with one.
The mark of a shooter, right? The best shooters are willing to go 0 for 10 because they know the 11th one is going in. He's not going to stop shooting. It's his ticket to being on the floor, and switch that one home there.
Reed was fouled hard by Copenhagen. Good to have all of you with us. Game 2 of the night. Got 2 more after this. The Border League action here on League Ready. We had a commanding 18-point win for the Explorers over Compass in Game 1. And now another commanding performance. Dynamic Prep, a basketball factory out of Texas, is smothering the Vale. An offensive foul whistled against Reed for an elbow.
Yeah, that's where your technique will continue to evolve. He's off to UC Arlington, play for KT Turner and that staff. And you know, his ability to catch lobs, finish around the rim is great, but continue to develop that post game and being more technical with your moves, avoid charges like that. That'll be the next step in his development.
Burries, quiet start offensively, but he hits an 8-footer. And now timeout, Dynamic Prep. Jermaine O'Neal takes his first.
If you're the Val, it's been such a slow start. And yeah, here you are, you're only down 9, settle in, hang around this game and see if we can get the offense going.
Program led by Steven Singleton in his 10th year. They were 30-3 last season in the California high school circuit. And here's Jermaine O'Neal, senior, 18 years in the NBA. The 18th overall pick in '96, right out of high school. He knows the pressure that so many of these kids face, and I'm sure that's part of his recruiting pitch.
Yeah, I think it's so valuable to have good guidance this day and age. And I think he has been through everything these young players want to experience, right? And so the opportunity to learn from someone who's already failed and already been through some of those mistakes that young players will make, I think that's really, really valuable, and a big reason why dynamic prep has become quite the hotbed for Texas talent.
A huge hotbed as Faison finishes from just 2 feet out. And now a 3-ball that falls for Williamson. We've seen the New Mexico bound guard shine offensively as he steals it away.
Yeah, that's the type of play that makes you want Isaac Williamson on your team.
And then Coleman sneaks in for 2. Williamson travels. You said the New Mexico staff loves him because of the way he sort of embodies what that program's all about. What do you mean by that? What are they about?
Look, I think they're a program that wants to play fast and has had unbelievable talent in the backcourt, but also understands that you have to defend. And that building in the pit really is one of the best college basketball environments there is. And to be able to play in that gym, I've been there. Those fans thrive off those high-intensity, high-effort possessions. And, I just think Isaac Williamson really embodies that.
Something about a court that is literally underground just screams defense, right?
It's such a unique environment to watch a ball game. Maybe he's gotten to roll the ball up the tunnel. That is the big test when you go to the pit. Can you roll a basketball up the tunnel? Very few guys have done it. Kawhi Leonard was able to pull it off. But you have to be sneaky strong. I tried it. I was nowhere close.
How far up the tunnel did you get?
About 2/3. It wasn't bad.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah, it was all right.
For a media guy like you.
But the ball just dies. I mean, it is truly a one-of-a-kind college basketball atmosphere, and I loved my trip. I'm hopeful to come back sometime soon.
Maybe next time it'll be to watch Isaac Williamson as Marcus Spears Jr. just shoots in for 2.
I mean, love a decisive move like that from Marcus Spears. And that's the challenge as much as anything for young players, is process the game and know when to push. And he found a small opening and took it right away for 2.
We mentioned his dad, Marcus Spears, now an ESPN NFL analyst, also NFL defensive end of 9 seasons. Well, his mom was a basketball superstar also. She played at LSU and then was the number 7 pick in the '03 WNBA draft. Here's their son, high flyer at 6'8".
Yeah, I mean, certainly the bloodlines all line up to be an elite athlete. He could probably do whatever he wants, but basketball seems to be the choice. And
look at those arms.
I mean, he has the frame of a guy to keep an eye on. Again, 6'8", still plenty of weight to put on at 180 pounds. He looks like one of those big wing fours to watch moving forward.
He's been offered by Texas, been offered by LSU. Ranks number 20 in his class, according to the ESPN Top 25. Toombs whistled for a foul, and now we get a look at Bradden Burries at the charity stripe. Well, Burries' recruitment has featured loads and loads of offers. I mean, if you're a high major coach, you've offered him, and why not? Bama, Arizona, Duke, Houston, USC, UCLA, and way more.
Yeah, I mean, he can go anywhere he wants. Alabama and Arizona have been 2 that have been mentioned quite a lot for him. I think the fit for him in both those systems would be phenomenal. Both coaches love to push. He could play with tempo. They give their guards a ton of freedom, and they produce pros, and that's what Bradden Burries wants to be. So we'll see if that decision comes down before the early period in November, or if this thing drags out a bit longer. But he is a priority across the country and one of the top uncommitted players in the 2025 class.
Higgins is short. Kelly now. A 3-ball, and the Oral Roberts bound Leroy Kelly for 3.
Speaking of places that have had luck with guards, how about Oral Roberts with Max A. Smith and more recently Isaac McBride? Leroy Kelly could be next. He's a really dynamic shot maker.
Pretty from Burries, count it.
He is starting to get going now, right? We said it was a slow start. You saw a little bit of the frustration. Now he's getting into his game, and you see it. It's the floaters. It's the mid-range. Like, he is going to take and make some tough ones. That time through contact, off one foot, took the hit and still swished it home. 3-point play for Bradden Burries as he tries to keep the Vale in this ballgame.
11 points for Burries.
Yeah, slow start. He has 11 of 16. That tells you how talented Bradden Burries is.
So on one side, you've got the Vale, where all of their points are from Burries with 11 and Williamson with 5. And then Dynamic Prep, which so far has 9 different scorers. Only 11 minutes into the game. Bobbled down low, and a steal for Burries. Gives it off to Higgins. And he lost it. We're going the other way.
Yeah, I think that you have seen, you mentioned the scoring depth for Dynamic Prep. I think that's the really difference in the game so far, is that it's a lot more weapons on the floor offensively, much harder to guard.
And there's one of their best weapons, Toombs O'Neal Jr., off to SMU next fall.
It just feels like the Vale is so reliant on Burries and Williamson, and that's a lot of Dynamic Prep to key in.
And Burries can't do it all. Rebound for Toombs. Spears, not this time, but a board for Kelly. Faison. And rebound, Benjamin. Here's Walker. He can't hit. Walker, he's a bulldog. Williamson, way deep.
How about Walker, though? An offensive rebound at 5'9" over one 6'8" and one 6'9" guy.
He's got 2 offensive rebounds and a block. And that one falls.
The game rewards you when you do the right things, right? Miles Walker earned those 2 points with his effort on defense, effort on the glass, and then a tough shot to cap it all off.
And it took 12.5 minutes for someone not named Burries or Williamson to score in a blue jersey. Williamson fouls O'Neal. So Toombs O'Neal Jr., well, when you're the son of an 18-year NBA vet, you know, there's going to be a spotlight on you, and you're going to grow up with the game. He thinks his basketball IQ is as high as anyone in the class of 2025. Putting it on display tonight.
Yeah, look, I think so much of, I think people think of basketball IQ as sort of like a, you know, born with behavior. I think it's the opposite. I think it's something you learn and get better by watching and being around basketball. And Toombs O'Neal Jr. has been around a ton of basketball in his life, and I think you see, you know, a cerebral player when you put him on film.
He was born into the game. He's grown with the game. And that's stuffed by Kelly. 4-on-4 crime.
It's a heck of a defensive play by Leroy Kelly, recovering and blocking a jump shot.
A 4-star prospect out of Wiley, Texas. Now playing for one of the dominant teams in the Lone Star State. Here's Burries off on a mid-ranger. O'Neal in the corner. Up top, Kelly again for 3.
Man, delivering on defense with the block, delivering from 3 on the other end. Leroy Kelly showing us something, the Oral Roberts commit.
Nice interior feed to Ori Benjamin, his first bucket.
That's a nice finish, and they've just had so little luck inside the arc.
And Leroy Kelly keeps on cooking.
He is on fire right now. He caught that ball and it came out immediately. He looks like a guy that might be a steal for Oral Roberts. You know, underrated recruit, but at 6'3", with the ability to make shots like that, great body, ability to defend like he does right there with the steal. I think Leroy Kelly's going to be really, really good.
Steal and finish. 11 points for Dynamic.
Quick 11 points for Leroy Kelly as well. I mean, these have come in short order, and he is taking over this game as they stretch the lead to 20.
A 20-point lead with under 2 to go in the first half. I mean, we know these final 2 minutes are always crucial, but this game's already blowout.
Yeah, they've just done a great job of keeping the foot on the gas, being really efficient and getting good shots offensively, and the defensive effort from Dynamic, even as they've stretched that lead, has been incredibly impressive. This has been a comprehensive showing in the first half.
Yeah, this team just looks like a machine. And another steal. Kobe Coleman flushes it home. Timeout for the Vale. And this basketball factory that is Dynamic Prep is operating at peak efficiency.
They are dominating. Turnovers into easy baskets on the other end. That is a recipe that every coach in the country would love to replicate.
Leroy Kelly has been a superstar tonight. 11 points, got the steal, got the finish. He leads all scorers.
Yeah, again, what's really impressed me with Leroy Kelly is the defense. It's not just, oh, I can knock down threes, but it's everything else. It's guarding the ball, it's block shots, it's setting the energy of the game with how you approach the defensive end and paying it off with threes on the other end.
You said Oral Roberts might have gotten this steal. Why is it that he flew so under the radar?
I mean, he played for a loaded AAU team. That backcourt was very talented with JoJo McIver, who's going to Colorado State. Also played with a lot of these other guys like Toombs and Jacoby Coleman. Sometimes you can fly a little under the radar. And again, I think as the portal becomes recruiting aim number 1 for a lot of college programs, if you can get in early with kids and build a relationship, there's an opportunity for mid-majors like Oral Roberts to get a slightly higher level of kid than they've gotten in the past. And someone like Leroy Kelly, who's been productive on the EYBL circuit, productive, you know, here in the Border League and other big events in high school in Texas, that's quite the get on paper, and he has shown it on film today.
Player on the rise, joining a program on the rise. And Oral Roberts really bursting onto the scene this decade. That big 15-2 NCAA tournament win over Ohio State. And likely more to come out of Tulsa. Faison looking for the alley-oop. It wasn't there with Amari Reed, but he did get fouled.
Yeah, it might have been there had he not been held. Maybe a risky pass for my liking, but when you're playing this well and you're up 22, why not have some fun, look for a highlight.
What do you think of this checkerboard on the side of the jersey? I keep going back and forth.
I think I'm in on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I like it, man. A little like finish line vibe.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, racetrack. We're gonna speed by you kind of mentality.
That's what they've done so far.
O'Neal boarded by Burries, and then he is fouled. Bradden Burries trying to do it all. 11 points, 4 boards. Just not enough against a really polished Dynamic Prep team. Now here's Burries, the 5-star man out of California, bringing it up. Burries, a 3. Rebounded by Coleman. The shot clock's got to reset. And Spears. Faison now with 10 to halftime. O'Neal throws it into no man's land. Walker finds Copenhagen at the buzzer, no. And Dynamic Prep will coast into the locker room with a 22-point advantage. Step aside for a few minutes. On the other side, half two between the Vale and Dynamic Prep. You're watching the Border League, presented by the United States Marine Corps on League Ready. We are back in beautiful Las Vegas. Matchup between the Vale and Dynamic Prep. It is all dynamic right now, just smothering them. And let's take a look at tonight's first half stats, brought to you by Shot Tracker. And Kevin, where is Dynamic making this such a blowout?
I mean, they've just dominated the rim, first and foremost, taken away everything for the Vale near the basket, and then from there it's contested jump shots, and that has been a great recipe defensively and offensively. You see it. It's been a balanced approach, and you really see the talent across this Dynamic Prep lineup on full display.
And 9 different guys scored in the first 10 minutes of this game for Dynamic Prep. Really a machine. Leroy Kelly, the fourth, leading the way with 11 points. We saw his crisp shooting on display with 3 3-pointers. Jaden Toombs, Jalen Faison, Jermaine O'Neal Jr., Marcus Spears Jr. Just a machine so far. Meanwhile, for the Vale, almost all the scoring has come from 2 guys. 16 of those 20 points are from Bradden Burries and Isaac Williamson. And Burries rejected by Toombs.
That could have been a heck of a highlight if he had pulled it off, but Toombs too long around the rim.
And then Toombs is fouled. Slapped on the wrist by Dominic Copenhagen. Well, good to have all of you with us. Sam Brief, Kevin Sweeney, and our wonderful crew here at Coronado High School in Las Vegas for the Border League. Our second of 4 matchups tonight. Next up, it's going to be Bishop Gorman against Utah Prep. And Kevin, that's another matchup that's circled because the #1 player in the country, AJ DeBonsa, is playing.
Yeah, ESPN's #1 prospect, AJ DeBonsa, is electric to watch. As dynamic a scorer as you will find in high school basketball. Cannot wait to see him on the floor in this one.
Here's Faison off to Kelly. 11 points and 3 threes in the first half for Kelly. Here's another 3 and another make.
I'm telling you, Leroy Kelly has the goods. This is a guy who is going to outperform his recruiting ranking pretty substantially at Oral Roberts.
Hagen's off a foot. Yeah, Leroy Kelly now 14 points. Almost all of them from behind the arc. 4-star prospect. He has always been considered an elite shooter. He also has basketball in his blood. His father, Leroy Kelly III, played at Alcorn State. His boy is off to Oral Roberts. Toombs to O'Neal, an SMU connection.
Yeah, I mean, that's a combo that SMU fans are going to be excited to watch over the next several years. And I'll say this. Signing those 2 guys for Andy Enfield was absolutely huge. Recruiting in Texas is dog eat dog. Everybody wants the top players from that state, and SMU wants to recruit them, but Andy Enfield's a Cali guy, doesn't have a ton of ties in that state. For him to come in his first full recruiting class, land a big man the caliber of Jaden Toombs, land Jermaine O'Neal Jr., a 3-and-D versatile wing, and really start a pipeline with dynamic prep, which I don't think is going anywhere even as Jermaine Jr. graduates. I think that's a really impactful setup for the future for Andy Enfield and that staff.
Toombs, who will play for Enfield. You say Texas recruiting, it's a dog-eat-dog kind of world. What makes that state unique with basketball recruiting? We know Texas, it's unique in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, first off, I mean, there's multiple metro areas with tons of talent, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, etc. I think what's been challenging is there's so many good programs at the state right now and programs outside the state that want in, right? Houston has been dominant with Kelvin Sampson. Obviously, Baylor won a national championship in 2021. Texas Tech with Grant McCaslin, and before that, Mark Adams and Chris Beard. Texas, obviously, will get the best players in the state when they want them, like Trey Johnson, who's headed there this year. And the list goes on and on. It's just so competitive, and everybody wants in, even if they don't live there, right? It's the SEC and the Big 12, that state is the epicenter of talent in the Southwest, and it's hard to recruit in that state. So if you're SMU, you're moving up to quote-unquote high major world in the ACC. It's a statement to beat out the Texas Techs and the Alabamas of the world to go get a Jaden Toombs.
And you got Andy Enfield, Cali guy coming into Texas, and he gets these 2 big recruits right away, Toombs and O'Neal.
Traded in Manhattan Beach for the DFW Metroplex.
Less income tax. Here's Toombs down low, and the SMU-bound big man comes up short. Spears now from about 6 feet. Toombs a push. It's a foul that will give it back to DeVale.
I'm going to drop a player comparison
Hit
for...
me. I'm a sucker for that.
I think Marcus Spears Jr.'s jump shot has a little Tayshaun Prince in it.
Ooh.
Lefty, really high release over the head. He had a heck of a career, too.
Got some of those dominant Pistons teams. Yeah, that lefty, kind of wiry guy. I see it.
could play with the ball a little bit. Multiple position, versatile guy. Kind of ahead of a time in that regard.
I like it. I see it. Former California Mr. Basketball also. Tayshaun Prince played at Kentucky and then almost 2 full decades in the NBA. I like that comp. Here's Houston. And Coleman fighting for the tip. It goes out and it goes to the Vale.
Great effort though by Jacoby Coleman. 29-point game, 12 minutes left. Still fighting for every loose ball. I think that says a lot about the culture that Jermaine O'Neal Sr. is establishing in this dynamic prep program.
And on the flip side, Steven Singleton counseling his team at the Vale. Over 200 wins for Singleton as a high school coach. East Vale High School in the Inland Empire in Riverside County area in California. And Walker, the Bulldog at 5'9", fighting on the floor with Spears, spills out. Kudos to the officials for swallowing the whistle. And Coleman from the stripe. Coleman is good.
Tough shot.
A 3-star prospect headed to Sam Houston as Williamson has the response. And a massive blowout here. This ball just kind of spilling everywhere. Here's Williamson, 1-on-3. Off the stutter, it's boarded by Toombs. Houston off the pass from Spears.
I had to say I kind of wish that pass was in reverse because I want to see what Marcus Spears Jr. would have done to that rim. But good unselfish play, set up your teammate for an easy layup.
Still got 10:50 on the clock to reverse it. And Toombs just takes it away from Carson Butler. Coleman, empty. Man, Miles Walker has been everywhere, and now 1-on-3, he draws a foul. That's whistled against Roberson. I like this Miles Walker. He's got an offer from UC Irvine, plays with the Compton Magic AAU program. A 5'9" senior.
Talk about programs that are good at finding undervalued talent. UC Irvine with Russ Turner. I mean, I always say there's certain programs where if you see an offer from that school, you should watch this kid closer because you're probably looking at a sleeper. UC Irvine would be one of those places.
And why is that?
I mean, their track record is incredible with player development and just winning. And this is a program, 24 wins a year ago. They've been to the NCAA tournament multiple times under Russ Turner, but pretty much every year you will see UC Irvine at the top of the Big West. And again, they're a program that doesn't have a ton of resources, has to scrap and claw and find under-the-radar guys in a loaded state, California, with talent. And how do you find the guys that everyone else overlooked? And Russ Turner has done a great job of that so far in his career. And yes, Miles Walker is undersized. Yes, he's going to get written off by a lot of people because of that. But he has a chance to play at the college level because he does so many little things really well and has shown a lot of fight tonight.
At 5'9", he's been a force really for the Vale, and it shows up in some different ways. Here's Reed by himself for the slam.
Hammer time for the UT Arlington commit. He's got a game-ready frame. Looks like he could step into a college lineup tomorrow.
6'8", 205, senior from Shreveport, Louisiana. And an offensive foul on the Vale. Well, this one got ugly early, and it stayed that way. 32-point lead for Dynamic Prep. Led by Leroy Kelly, Jaden Toombs, Jermaine O'Neal and company. And here's Houston, who's now hit 3 buckets.
I mean, the benefit of having this depth and going up big is you get an opportunity to tap into that bench, and Houston taking advantage of the opportunity.
Burries with the miss. What have you seen from Burries tonight? I mean, his team obviously is way behind. He's 3 of 12, 11 points.
Yeah, I think you see the skill set, right? I mean, he's got a game-ready body physically. He's, you know, shoots, looks like really shoots the ball well. He just has had very few clean opportunities. You know, I think Dynamic Prep's done a great job of putting pressure on him, attacking with, you know, multiple different bodies coming in different areas and making it really hard for him to read the floor. Hasn't been his best night, but I think at the same time with Bradden Burries, the pedigree is evident. I mean, you don't average 21, 6, and 3 on the UIBL circuit without being one of the best guards in the country. And he looks the part. He's had some moments. Just putting it together consistently in a blowout setting like this has been tough.
Isaac Williamson, way downtown, drops it in. Yeah, this must be one of those games where you kind of throw out the stats, right? You look at 3 for 12, and well, his team is so overmatched. You have to go on the eye test much more from a scouting perspective. Here he is on the board. Look at this speed. Look at this strength for Bradden Burries.
Yeah, we were looking for him to show us something, and boy, did he right there, right? He detonated on that one. Explosive athlete in transition. And again, that's why I mentioned Alabama and Arizona. Those teams love to run, and I think you see that same mentality from Bradden Burries.
Track meet speed. Explosion from Burries. He says he can throw away the scoreboard. Look what I can do. An errant pass. Here's Williamson. Fadeaways off. Offensive board, though, for Benjamin. And a foul. Oh, I know you want to watch it again. I know we do. Bradden Burries, wow.
Man, that was an explosive finish from Bradden Burries.
Could watch that all night, folks. All these games. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard says. Doesn't really matter who wins. I mean, you're watching these elite prospects, the stars of tomorrow.
That was almost as impressive a block by Burries as that dunk. What a recovery, and again, the athleticism off the floor. He is a high-level vertical athlete.
And now we see the shooting. He can do it all.
Put on a show, Bradden Burries.
Man, if I'm Bradden Burries, I want to highlight reel. I just take the last minute of this game. Show it to everyone.
That's what they look like, folks. Like when you are looking for what does a 5-star guard look like? It's that size, that physicality, that athleticism, that speed, that shooting ability. Bradden Burries has it all.
Last year in high school, 25 points a game, 8 boards, 3.5 assists, 3 steals. He's a machine, and Burries this time short. Incredible at this point in the game to still have more than half of your team's points. That's Burries. Cam Anderson off. Board to Reed. And with 6:30 to go, Dynamic more than doubling up the Vale. Down low, here's Reed. Over 2 defenders is off. Folks, remember next up, we've got LV Orange against Utah Prep and the #1 player in the country, AJ DeBonsa. Little alley to Reed, and Dynamics at 65. Walker now. Walker can't finish over the trees. O'Neal, strong. Offensive board, put back, off. And now here comes Burries, 1-on-3, draws some contact, and that's a big part of his game too, is just finding contact, getting to the line.
Just flying up and down. You see how gassed he is. I mean, he having to do everything on the floor for this Vale team, and continuing to battle even as they're getting doubled up here with 5 minutes to go. But putting up some highlights if nothing else.
His fadeaway twirling out. Toombs draws contact and free throws.
Looked like he wanted to go Euro step, which at 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan is a scary sight. Stopped and fouled, but I think that is a big part of Jaden Toombs' future, is how does he evolve as a guy that can handle the ball. I'm not sure he's going to be a perimeter guy, but can he be someone that grabs and goes off rebounds and pushes in transition? I think so, and then you see that post game with the hook shot.
What a beauty. Jaden Toombs, the SMU-bound center. Number 38 player in his class, according to the ESPN 100. 9-foot standing reach, 7'3" wingspan. He's a big dude. Here's Benjamin, blocked and fouled. Back for a moment to Toombs. Anything new you learned about him, watching him kind of intimately tonight?
I think it's easy to hear about measurables. I think it's different to see it in person. Like, he is massive. I mean, his, like tools-wise, his length really, really pops. And you combine that with soft touch. I mean, that's a pretty darn good combination. I think, again, the development as a ball handler will be interesting to track. Development as a defender, like how could he use that length to protect the rim? That will be something to continue to watch with Jaden Toombs, and something that's probably easier evaluated in a college setting. Fewer broken plays, more kind of natural defensive sets. But he is a guy with a very high upside, and I think a building block for Andy Enfield at SMU.
On the third opportunity, an offensive board for Faison, and then he is fouled. They are all over the offensive glass. Dynamic prep with 8 of them tonight. You go back to Jaden Toombs, someone else with high-level international experience. He was a part of the under-17 American team that won gold at the summer's FIBA World Cup, teaming up with the Boozer twins, AJ DeBonsa. 82-point win in the gold medal game against Canada.
It's got to be fun to be part of an 82-point win.
Can't even imagine. How do you call it a game? Burries, an air ball. $82 points. I mean, really every game for Team USA in that tournament was just an absolute drubbing. I mean, not even remotely a contest.
And to be clear, like, that's not normal. Team USA obviously will have its share of blowouts. They can win big, especially against smaller, not as basketball-centric countries. But usually they do get tested later in the tournament. They did not get tested in this one, really at all, and put up some just eye-popping scores throughout that run to the championship.
145-65 over New Zealand, 129-88 over Italy. I mean, it was just nasty. But when you get all the best players in the country on one team, you're the best in the world, there's your result.
And again, I think that is a group that USA Basketball wants to build around moving forward. And it's not just those guys. There's other young players. Cooper Flagg is off to Duke now. He got that taste of USA Basketball with the select team in Vegas before the Olympics this year. But there is a big-time pipeline of young talent into the USA funnel. And early starts like that at the U17 FIBAs is huge, and a great step towards the future of USA basketball in the Olympic Games.
Just over a minute to go, and dynamic prep just looking to polish off the cherry on top. 9 different scorers tonight for this Texas-based powerhouse. On the flip side, the Vale still with Bradden Burries almost scoring half of their points. 16 of the Vale's 33. Houston Fadeaways off. Reed, no. And it is cleaned up by Benjamin. 30 to go. Hagens, a spin. Hagens, a 3. And next up, here from Coronado High School in Las Vegas, it'll be LV Orange against Utah Prep, and the #1 player in the country, according to ESPN, AJ Dabansa, is in action very shortly. And this one is over. A monster win for Dynamic Prep. What a drubbing for Jermaine O'Neal's program.
Yeah, they were dominant. Really impressed with not just their stars and Toombs, but also some of the proverbial role players who stepped up, including Leroy Kelly.
And let's take a look at tonight's player of the game, brought to you by the United States Marine Corps, and it is Leroy Kelly IV, off to Oral Roberts next fall. Electric, mostly from downtown.
Yeah, he was spectacular. Shooting the 3, aggressive in transition, hit that tough step back, really guarded. And this is a guy that I think has an incredibly bright future ahead of him. Again, great size, shooting ability. He looks like a steal at Oral Roberts and was a big part of that Dynamic Prep dominant win tonight over the Vale.
35-point win for Dynamic Prep. Just dominant. And next up, the #1 player in the country per ESPN, AJ Dabansa, and Utah Prep takes on LV Orange, coming in a few minutes from Vegas. We are back after this.